And I'm sure all of you are just 1 out of a million. Here, not in China. We can't not notice Google's move out of China. And while doing it, I really searched the internet to find one simple sentence that Sergey Brin, the founder of Google, said about it. It was difficult to find, and it's even more difficult to pronounce it, but I will try anyway, because it's a very important move from the internet largest company worldwide. He says, with respect to surveillance of dissidents, I see the same earmarks of totalitarianism, and I find that personally quite troubling. And this guy grew up in the Soviet Union under communist regime. He knows what he's talking about. And Google today is not operating in China anymore. Because, you know exactly why, because what he just said. Another person I really admire, Dalai Lama, His Holiness, that's how they call him, the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet, that 50 years ago, 50, had to escape China after his failing Tibetan uprising against the Chinese regime. He was interviewed by the New York Times just last year in this 50th anniversary, and he says something very harsh. He never said it before. He said the Chinese Communist Party have transformed Tibet into hell on earth. I never saw or heard anything like it from him. I can even quote another sentence. He said, today, the religion, culture, language, identity, which successive generations of Tibetans have considered more precious than their own lives, are nearing extinction, says the Dalai Lama just last year. What does it all mean for us? Are we going to start having 3 hot meals per day? Are we going to work for Chinese bosses? Are we going to report to them in Mandarin? Are we going to send our kids to international school and learn Mandarin as a second language? Or maybe start keeping our white skin and hiding away from the sun? This beautiful design is only an example of what will be presented later today by Yang Liu, a very talented designer that lives here in Germany, and this is the way for her to express the differences between the German and the Chinese culture. The blue one is the German, and the red one is the Chinese. Stay for her presentation, it's going to be very interesting. Or maybe we're going to start, and maybe most of us are already doing it, bicycles to work instead of cars. But why we'll do that? Millions of Chinese are buying cars, as I told you at the very beginning. They want to be what we have abandoned. They are buying cars. We go back to bicycles. I could give you a lot of questions and anecdotes to think about, but the answers you will get from these great people that we invited here for you to speak about it, sharing experience. This is the people we've invited from many different countries, all with very relevant experience about China, some of them with other kind of talents to just make you happy. So bear with us for a great conference, and a special thank for all those people, again, that came from US, China, and other parts of Europe. But before going into the conference, I will use just 1 minute of your time to give you a brief overview of what has happened in HP Ventures since 5 years ago, when I came here, knew nobody, till now. So it's all started with a phone call, as you all know, and the phone call came from Shai Agassi, not here with us today, but one of our investors in HP Ventures, asking me to meet a person called Hasso Plattner. And my first question was, Hasso who? I really didn't know who Hasso Plattner is. Don't tell him, Ron, please. But Shai told me he's the founder of SAP, the chairman of this company, and he wants to start a new fund in Germany. That's how it all started. And this is more or less the full set of instructions I received from Hasso when I met him for the first time. Just do what you know to do best, start now, and do it from Berlin. So it took Lisa, my wife, 3 minutes to understand that she had to relocate herself, sell the house, and come with the family to Berlin. And that's what we did, and we are still here. The first investment we've done in 2006, even less than 5 years ago. And today we have 18 companies in our portfolio, all growing, employing 672 people. And I'm sure Mr. Platzeck is very proud about this number because at least 120 people of those are operating here in Brandenburg and Berlin. And we have already revenues in the amount of 55 million euro, 2009, and we expect this number to grow to 94, 2010. So we do business. This is just a hobby, what we do now, but mostly we do business. We have 2 funds under management, HPV Germany, and the second one, HPV Europe, doing also later stage investments. We have an affiliate, sister fund, we started last year in South Africa, already with 6 portfolio companies and growing very well. Hasso Plattner is also the major investor in all of those funds. But we do have other investors as well. Some of them are here with us. CMA Ventures from San Francisco. Jim Watson, managing partner, is here with us. Where's Jim? Right there. And we have Deutsche ILB, the local bank of Brandenburg. Who is from ILB here? Here you are. Thank you for coming. Arnon Katz and Shai Agassi. Arnon? Arnon is going to be here. Geographic focus is Germany, Europe, including Israel. In this case, we like to have Israel inclusive. And we do IT software and cleantech investments. We do all sorts of investments from all stages, early to late, what we call expansion stage. And the investment size is at least 2 million to start with, although we can invest much smaller number. We can start from very small investment up to 10 million euro in a single company. So now you know a little bit more about HPV and what we've achieved so far. But before we talk about China, one more thing we are doing, part-time, we do social activities. And I have to share with you this little story because it is so rewarding, it made us so happy that we even started with these kind of activities that I want some of you to know it, and I'm sure some of you are doing it already, or most of you, especially after this social entrepreneurship conference we had 2 years ago. We have started funding and supporting different social projects. One of them is the Homeless World Cup. So it's one thing to give money to different projects and to get a report, but it's a completely different experience to go and see the people you support. So last summer, I traveled with Lisa, my wife, to Milan to visit Mel Young with his brilliant organization, Homeless World Cup. And then I met this group. It's homeless people that we funded with a very small amount, any of us can do it, to come from the Ivory Coast to participate in the World Championship. And when I met these people, they all told me, you, Eran Davidson, have changed our lives completely. We lived in the streets. Now we have a mission. We represent our country. We take other kids from the street. We train. We have a job. All of those people get a job after our small support, and they have actually new life. They were reborn. And when hearing these kind of things from these people, it's really much more rewarding than any great exit you're doing as a businessman. Difficult to understand, but that's the truth. And this is how it looks like in the ending ceremony of the games. Alfonso is smiling. He was the moderator of the whole event. It was so moving. We all cried there. Homeless people just reborn. Only using our good contacts, network, we change other people's lives for the better. And we do it with Muhammad Yunus, a good friend and the founder of the Genesis Foundation. with Johanna Richter. She's going to be here with us, starting a kindergarten in Togo. Mel Young and his Homeless World Cup. Cinema Jenin, Markus Vetter, a very good project. We are still supporting and following. Mr. Platzeck is also engaged into it at the moment. And Better Place Foundation, which is our baby from the very beginning. And let me, I promised another story. I will finish with another story before I hand over. My children, three of them are here, are attending the international school. One day, the teacher says, I'll give €5 to the kid, to the child, that will tell me who was the most famous person ever lived. It's a small class, 6, 7 years old. Then Sean raises up his hand and says, hey, teacher, I know. It was St. Patrick. It was an Irish boy. So the teacher says, sorry, Sean, wrong answer. Anybody else? Then Aaron raises up his hand and says, it's a Jewish little boy. I know, teacher, it was Moses. The teacher says, sorry, Aaron, wrong answer. Nice try. Who else? They think and think. And finally, Li Yang, the little Chinese boy, raises up his hand and says, I know, teacher, it was Jesus Christ. The teacher says, very well done. Li Yang, come on stage, I'll give you the €5. As Li Yang is coming to the stage, the teacher whispers in his ear, Li Yang, I'm so impressed. How did you know that? You're Chinese, you're not supposed to know. Says Li Yang, well, teacher, deep in my heart, I knew it was Mao Zedong. But business is business. Business is business. Remember, next time you see a beautiful product, excellent design, top quality, half the price, beware, it might be Chinese. Remember this boat I saw in the club? Can happen to you. I wish you a great day, enjoy it, and successful conference.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eran Davidson.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.